Now, if you've been watching this channel from the very beginning, you may remember that I used to talk a lot about watches, mostly vintage watches, and I used to sell them on the store. I think the Archer was used to be 50% pre-owned clothes and 50% like vintage watches. Because when I started it, pretty much they were the two things that I loved, the two things that I loved, like hunting down and searching for, and it didn't have to be very expensive. I preferred vintage because they have a bit of story to them, and like even with clothes, that's why one of the reasons I like secondhand clothes is because with a lot of pieces, especially when they're made well, they have a bit of patina, they've been lived in. I just find that just more interesting to me as a person. And you know, there is also the cost thing where they are just more affordable. And over that time, we had some really good watches coming through the store. As I say, a lot of it was vintage. We had a lot of watches sort of like around the sort of £100 mark. And then occasionally a couple of ones that would be like a Cartier Tank or a Cartier American was probably the most expensive one we had come to the store. And they were more pieces that I was just really interested in getting my hands on and learning about, like going to places to actually see the watches before buying them. And it was more of like, rather than like actually making money from it, it was a bit of a personal interest of mine that I wanted to try to evolve into a part of the business of selling pre-owned clothes and selling pre-owned watches as well, and just talking about it as content as well. But you may have also noticed that I haven't talked about watches for quite a while on here, and I don't particularly sell them on the store now at this point in time. And a lot of that's just become because it just becomes so difficult to wear a watch in London. And I'm talking more about the sort of Rolexes, the Cartiers. I mean, I've never really had like a AP or anything like that at all, but those kind of watches, I mean, you are asking for trouble walking through London, which is absolutely tragic. I absolutely love London. I hate when people talk bad about it, like it's people saying it's gone to pot, but that is the one aspect where I feel like the city has become a bit of a problem in that sense, where you just don't feel safe with a nice watch on your wrist. So with that, after the pandemic, when you can sort of go out, I just stopped wearing watches in general, really, because the two watches I had was a Rolex Datejust from 1966, which I absolutely love, and a Cartier Tank. I had others as well, but they were the two sort of mainstays in my watch collection. I've had various other ones come through the store, like Omega Seamasters, like the GoldenEye ones, but whilst I just sort of, they were sort of more transitory. They'd sort of come in, I'd wear them for a bit, and then I'd sell them, because I feel like you can get a little bit fatigued of watches. So that's part of the fun as well, just talking about them on this channel and just having them in store. But recently I found that sort of hunger for watches coming back. Like, I've been taking a lot of interest in people I meet who have really beautiful like vintage Rolexes or Tudors, and I've just been thinking that I still don't want to have a Rolex. I still don't want that unnecessary stress when I go out. I live in Southeast London. It's not the safest part of town. So it can be a little bit tricky at times to step outside with sort of like a bullseye on your wrist. So I've been thinking about what I can do and what I can do to sort of satisfy my sort of watch urges, but also not spend that much money, because I've got other interests at the moment that I just need to put my investment and time and money into, that watches, it just seems a little bit frivolous to me. So the way I was going to attack it was just looking at vintage watches, just fun, quirky ones with interesting dials and interesting sort of patina, but sort of sleek and easy, very wearable watches, and probably none with a bigger brand name than like maybe like a vintage Omega, which is great, and it's all you need, really. But the other thing I was going to do was look at what's in this box today. So I've been looking into like micro brands, and there's a load of cool ones that are currently out of my budget right now, because ones I'll probably progress to in future, some really cool ones. But there were a couple of videos that stuck out that had glowing reviews from some really good watch reviewers and YouTubers of a Chinese micro brand called San Martin. Either way, so every single video I watched about them, people were very glowing about them. So if you're unaware of them, as I say, they are a Chinese micro brand. They make homage watches, and they have made their own sort of individual designs. But I've wanted just to have a look around and see what I could get for, say, like £100 on eBay. So I found this one, which is a homage to the Tudor Black Bay 58. So it's like a 39mm. We'll open this up in a second. I've kind of had a little peek to make sure it was what I ordered. So let's open this up and then have a look, because I'm really interested to see what's going on. So I'm gonna try to move you around to where you can see. I also might be trying to hide this hand here. You may see I've got a few grazes in there. I just fell over the other day running, so that just happened. So I might just wear this on my right wrist. But let's swing you around and then we'll have a look at this watch and see what the fuss is all about. All right, here we are. So apologies if this angle is a bit weird. I still need to buy like a top-down kind of tripod. So I don't think I actually need that because I had a little peek because I've ordered something else of a similar size. I wanted to make sure this was it. Okay. Okay, so first up we've got this nice little watch case, actually really nice leather. The San Martin logo. There it is. So first impressions, actually I better look through not through the screen finder. Wow, I mean it actually is really impressive visually. Like, and obviously it hasn't got the Tudor logo, but it's very similar. I mean the build quality feels really good. Oh, that's annoying. That sounds good. Yeah, I mean, first impressions, this looks great. So this is it's a 39mm watch. And the reasons I really liked it was, so, I mean, I love this watch anyway, and as in the Tudor version, but I mean, I'm just a sucker for an oyster bracelet. I don't think I've ever really had like a legitimate, like I haven't had a Rolex or a Tudor with one before. So that was one thing that really caught my eye with it. Let's put it on. Supposedly this has a fast releasing because it's quite small, this bracelet. So you get a nice little tool. Label, a screwdriver, but we need that. And I've got three links in there as well, so okay, that's pretty good. So I might just have a little play around with that now and then we'll come back and I'll show you it on. But yeah, I mean, I'm very impressed with like the way it feels. Like it feels solid, it feels like I've held Tudors and you know, Rolex subs and things like that before, and it just feels the same. I mean, obviously it's not going to have the same quality and sort of like the finer details, but still pretty good. Right, I'm going to go change the link. Right, so I'm back. So I found out there is a fast release thing here, or on the go. You can just move it a few mil. I can't really do it. It's quite tough actually. Oh yeah, so you can't really, I don't know if you can see that, but it's moved in and out. I've got it a little bit tight on, I think, but there it is on. I mean, I've got quite small wrists. So a 39mm watch is probably the right size. It sits a little bit proud on the wrist, but not that much. But I really like that. I think that looks great. So I've got this for £113, which is insane value if you consider that, I mean, the feel of it, the look of it, obviously apart from the logo, and then I haven't got a loop on, so looking at the real finer details, it's not far off. Whereas the original watch would be, what is it? I mean, you probably get it on eBay for about 3,000, 3 to 4,000. But new, I think it's like 5,000. But really, I'm not sure you can actually justify it. Or I'm not sure I can justify it at least. Yeah, so there is the watch on. You can get a good idea of what it kind of looks like. But yeah, originally I wouldn't have gone near a watch like this before. I was a little bit snobbish, and this is a part of why I wanted to try this out and try to not focus on Cartiers and Rolexes and try different things, because I think I want to enjoy them, and I want, especially with something like this, I felt that I can now, I spent £113 in it, wherever it was, and I feel like now I can just wear it, I can throw it around a little bit, I can go swimming with it, I can go on holiday next week, I can actually wear this watch out, I can actually sort of live in it and enjoy it and just wear it going out for dinner, going as I say, going to the beach, and really put it through a test, but also make my own sort of patina and market it. So I think the one thing that really appealed to me when I was younger, when I got into watches initially, was like the James Bond watch and how he would wear it was the Pierce Brosnan one, so the Seamaster 300. How he'd wear it everywhere. He'd wear it, as I said, for like with the tux, or he'd wear it doing that bungee jump or anything like that at all. Obviously, I'm not going to do that, but still, the concept of just having this thing that you can really put it through its paces, and you can see the marks and scars with it, really appeals to me. So that's what I want to try and do with this, and see if I can get over that mental hump that this is a kind of it's a copy. Is it a copy? A homage watch? I mean, as I say, I've really not paid attention to these kind of things that much with watches recently. I've just sort of shut it off in my mind, and I was never really interested in them in the first place because I had a bit of a snobby attitude to them. But I want to open up. I don't know if this is an age thing. I don't know if it's just getting a little bit older, but I want to be able to learn to appreciate things, not just for the label or the sort of social gravitas you get from wearing something like that, and get over that point of caring what other people think. And I think watches are a really big marker of that. I think I'm happy to wear, like a jumper from John Lewis or from Uniqlo or something like that. I mean, it doesn't really bother me that much anymore. Maybe when I was younger, that would be a bit of an issue. Wouldn't it really? No, I think I was always really happy to do that to a point. The only issue would be sort of the ethical standpoint of it, where it's like fast fashion and the ethics of that. That's the main thing that sort of comes into it for me. Obviously, this quality of clothes, but if the quality is there, then ultimately it falls down to the ethics, how these things are made. I'm not 100%, I have to be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure of that with these. As I say, I bought it off eBay anyway, I didn't buy it new. But it's certainly something I'm going to be looking into and trying to learn a bit more about. But also, what else is out there? As I say, there was a load of other micro brands that look really interesting, making really cool stuff. And if this is the sort of quality you're getting, if this is the sort of, well, I mean, the aesthetics are there completely. Like, it absolutely looks great. Then I don't know if I can see myself going back. Like, I cannot see myself actually going out and buying the Tudor model or like a Rolex. Like my gold watch, my Grail watch, was always a vintage Rolex Pepsi, like a 1980s version, because I loved the way that the bezel sort of often faded out and looked all busted up. I loved the steel of it, and yeah, just the general patina that would come from an 80s watch of that type. And along with this sort of the money that you're going to put up for that kind of thing, the safety aspect, I just can't see myself doing that when you can get something like this that is this price, and most of that worry goes. Now, there is a worry because this looks a lot like the real thing. So someone out in the street, if they want to chop your hand off for this, there's a chance they'll do that. So I think there is obviously going to be an element of just being sensible with it. I'm not going to be, stepping straight out in the street with one of these or going home at night with this on my wrist. But I definitely would feel better about it. I feel safer in most aspects. So you do have to be still a little bit smart. But that's where the other watches I'm looking for is just getting like the vintage watches. You can still get really good Swiss made watches that are not that expensive, and they're fun and they're different, and some of them are quite unique. So that, as well as looking at other sort of homage watches, and am I saying homage right? Homage watches, other homage watches is where I'm going to be looking at. But if you have any recommendations, drop them in the comments, please do. I've seen some cool brands. I'm just sort of like not putting a list together, and maybe we'll just talk about them here on the channel as well as they come through. Also, I want to know what you feel about this as well. Like, how do you feel about wearing one of these or having one of these? Is it too close to the real thing? Is it? Do you feel like it is just a straight up copy, or is it something completely different? Because all of the, as I say, a load of the real respectable sort of watch guys I follow out there, and even when I remember watching them in the past, like were completely fine with these kind of watches. They were completely respectable watches to have, and I couldn't really get my head around it, but now I do. So I'm interested to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments, and again, yeah, any other brands as well. Do check out archeronwoods.com for premium menswear. I'm gonna let's see about if I can add some watches in there as well, some fun ones. And also sign up to the Substack The Guidance as well, which is a newsletter I send out with pre-owned items. So from all the big brands you know and love, I put a big list together 2 or 3 times a week that you do have to act fast with, because once these items are gone, they're gone. There's some really great deals you can get in there. And I just do some general sort of writing and rambling as well. So I'll put a link in the description for that. But thank you for watching, guys. Bit of a different video today, but I'll see you next time. Cheers.